Can you redesign a Jaguar F-Type with the $75 Gaomon M10K tablet? Will it perform as advised, or does it not measure up to its more expensive competitors? Let's find out. First of all, a big thank you to Gaomon for letting me review this M10K for you guys today. Well, let's open up the box and see what's inside. When Gaomon reached out to me and asked if I wanted to review this tablet, I said of course, because I know there are a lot of you out there who's just starting with digital sketching and want to kind of get a feel for it and don't really want to spend a lot of money on tablets like this. So this for $75 is a great example to review and see how it performs compared to the more expensive brands out there. So when we open this up, we have the tablets well packaged inside of the box. The tablet itself is very light. It's only 2.9 pounds and the plastic is very hard. And I really like that. I like it because it feels more like my old Intuos from 2007 with a solid surface and not that textured, almost rubbery matte surface that we have on the new Intuos tablets today. I prefer this surface because it feels like the pen is sliding easier over it, and it feels like I can throw this in the wall and it will still work perfectly fine, just like my old Intuos. Now, inside of this box you also have this pouch, which could be useful, I guess, when you're traveling and want to keep your cables and pens in one place. We also have this sketch glove. It's something I never use, but I can see it being useful if you have, for example, excessive hand sweating or something like that, and you want to have a better glide on the tablet, then these kind of tools might be useful. And obviously there is the owner's manual and the product overview and the setup of the tablet. It's an extremely easy setup to do this because it doesn't require any display cables. It's basically just a USB cable that you plug into the tablet, and then you plug that into the back of the computer. If you need extra nibs, you have those inside of these furry cases right here. You can change them. I think these will probably last for the lifetime of the tablet. I've been sketching digitally since, I think it has to be about 15 years now. I've never had to replace any nibs on my pens. I don't know what you have to do to wear out your nib. Maybe I'm just not putting enough pressure on it. But if you need them, they are there. In the other pouch, you have this pen, and I like this pen better than a display tablet because it's thinner. It feels more like a regular big pen to sketch with. It doesn't have to have all these functions inside of it. It also has two customizable buttons like any other tablet pen. There are not a lot of soft materials on the tablet or the pen. In fact, all of the material is made out of hard plastic. Last but not least, we have the power cable, which is a simple USB cable which you plug in to the tablet and the other end in the computer, and you're ready to go. Now that we know what's inside of the box, let's fire up Photoshop and see how this tablet performs when redesigning a Jaguar F-Type. First of all, when you're starting out with this tablet, the best thing to do is to obviously download the drivers once you have it plugged in. That way you can customize all the buttons and the scroll ring that you have, and there's also one button inside of the scroll ring that you can customize to do whatever you want. And you also have this socket on the side of the tablet to put your pen in. I think that's a great idea because this to me is for traveling, and I don't want to have the pen being separate from the tablet if I can store it in a more convenient way, and this works out perfectly. And on the back of the tablet you have these 4 rubbery patches that really holds the tablet in place if you're sketching on a slippery surface such as a hard surface table. Now, before we jump into the redesign, which we are right now, but before I start talking about it, I want to talk about the setup that I use when I sketch with a tablet. So the first thing I did when I got the tablet here and started sketching was to disable all of the buttons on the tablet. I've never used the buttons, and I wouldn't be using them on this tablet either because, as you can see, I have this my left hand is always resting on the keyboard with the Control Z readily available with just a tap of the fingers, so they are always resting on the undo command. And that's pretty much the only command that I use when it comes to Photoshop. I also use the rotate button, but that's just as simple as clicking on the R button on the keyboard. And just getting used to the new setup of a tablet, it just doesn't make sense to me. This is way more comfortable for me. But of course, if you want to, there are 11 express keys that you can customize to whatever you want, plus the scroll ring to rotate the canvas or zoom in and out. And you can also decide what you want that rotation to do. So what does it feel to sketch on the Gaomon M10K? Well, it feels like any other tablet, to be honest. The only difference here when I first plugged it in is that the pressure sensitivity, the tablet does have 8192 levels of pressure, but I felt that the pressure came too early, so it didn't have that fine tune when it comes to sketching. The lines got too thick with too little pressure, if that makes sense. But at the same time, if you want to, you can go in and change that either with the drivers that you download, or inside of Photoshop, you can adjust the brush settings here as well. There was a bit of a transition from sketching from a display tablet and going back to a regular pen tablet. It took a while to get used to. I've been sketching on the display tablet for a few months now, but it didn't take that much effort to get back into it. It's pretty standard. I've been doing this for over 10 years now with my old Intuos tablet, and this feels pretty much the same. And the size is pretty similar as well. The active area is 10 by 6.25 inches, and it feels pretty close to the size of any regular print paper. You can switch the tablet upside down if you prefer to have the buttons on the right side. That's also customizable. If you're left-handed, for example, it might be easier to have them on the right side. And the pen itself does not have a battery, so you don't have to worry about charging or anything like that. Overall, it feels good. It feels like something I'm used to and something that it wouldn't take me long to really get comfortable with. And this to me feels like the perfect travel tablet, because it feels rugged and you have the pen slot on the side of the tablet and also the little pouch that comes with it to put all the extra things in. The current F-Type is now 6 years old and is set to be replaced in 2020. Spy shots of the new F-Type has been spotted during the summer of 2019, and the next generation F-Type V8 will have a 4.4 liter 560 horsepower BMW engine, which will replace the supercharged 5 liter V8 patented by Ford. In regards to the styling of the new F-Type, one of the senior designers said that they will move away from the E-Type influence and take the favorite parts of the current F-Type, develop them graphically to be more modern and progressive. Instead of looking back to the E-Type styling, the next generation F-Type will be developed with a more futuristic design language. However, the new car will not be a completely new model, but more of a significant facelift while keeping the aluminum structure of today's car. There has even been talks about a mid-engine F-Type. However, this would not be part of the F-Type family if it happens. It would be an entirely separate model. The possibility of an all-electric version could happen, but not until 2023. For this redesign, I wanted to keep the clean, classic proportions of the F-Type, and since they're planning on releasing a 2+2 model, I decided to keep the rear roofline a bit higher than on the current model. By this point, I'm pretty much used to sketching on a regular tablet again. It kind of took a while to get adjusted to it, but it feels good to see the entire sketch, the whole canvas, when you're sketching. I forgot about that. I think that's the biggest benefit with having just a tablet like this, is that you can see the entire canvas, what's going on in front of you, instead of having the hand partially covering up the screen. And simple tablets like this is just great to have, for example, if you want to sketch on a laptop, out in the living room or something like that. It doesn't require a lot of cables. It's just one cable that you have connected from the tablet to the computer, and you're all set to go. I didn't even have to install the drivers at first to get going with this tablet. Everything just worked straight out of the box, and the pressure sensitivity was there as well. But of course, if you want to go in and modify all the buttons and stuff like that, you need to install the drivers, but that takes about 10 minutes to do. Now we're pretty much done with the overall shape of this redesign. What's left to do now is to add all the details and the final shading to this car and add a little bit of color in the end. Thanks again to Gaomon for letting me review this tablet. If you're interested in learning more about it, you can check out the link in the description below. I've said it before and I'm gonna say it again. To me, the brand of the product does not matter at all. As long as the product itself does what it's supposed to do, if I'm able to plug it into the computer and get a sketch down in Photoshop, I'm happy. The materials and the whatever you're looking for, I don't really know what else I'm supposed to look for in a tablet. It gets the job done. The materials, yes, they could be a little bit better, and I would prefer to have some sort of a little rubberized feeling on the pen here, for example. This is all hard plastic, but if you can live with stuff like that and you get the tablet for $75, I think it's a really good deal, especially if you're just starting out and want to get a feel for digital sketching in Photoshop or Sketchbook or whatever software you're using. This Gaomon M10K is a really good option for that. The bottom line here is you don't have to spend a ton of money getting crazy expensive gadgets to create the art that you want to create. You need the basic stuff, and what it comes down to is just practice. The tools are not that important. It might feel like you need a high-end tablet with a brand name on it, but you know, the truth is you don't. You just need to get the basics and then get going and practice every single day if you want to get better at, for example, sketching in Photoshop. And to do that, you don't need a very expensive tablet. So that's the review of the Gaomon M10K and the redesign of the Jaguar F-Type. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you want to learn how to sketch products and cars on paper and in Photoshop, check out my courses down below in the description. I also have my Amazon store down there with all the tools that I use to create these type of sketches. You can go check that out if you want to. I'm the Sketch Monkey. I will see you in the next video.